Hey Kelly, it's good to be
Hello,
with you
Uma.
tonight.
You
I'm
too.
Uma Joy. I'm here with Kelly Bonsall, and it's our one of my favorite times of the week, just to have a chance to chat and see what's coming up, and to share with each other, and to share with those of you that join us live or watch us in the replay. Um, just a chance to connect.
Yes.
Excuse me. And that seems to be a theme for so many people, for the past year and a half, whatever it's been. I lose track, 2 years now, about connection. And many people really missing that connection. And yep, we're still doing it live, but we get to do it live.
Hmm.
And so it's a way that we can still connect. And you're in Austin, I'm in Taos, and so we wouldn't be able to get together every week anyway. So this is a
Right.
nice week that we get to do that.
It is. Absolutely.
So, and hi, Guru Dharam. This is nice to see you. Thank you for
Okay.
joining us. All right. So, Kelly, would you like to introduce our subject tonight?
Sure. So tonight the I sort of the subject is kind of a prompt of change makes me feel. And we are moving through the end of winter and about to go, well, not about to, we still have some weeks, but we are excitedly anticipating. Um, I am excitedly anticipating the beginning of spring, and spring is just that that sprouting, that growth, that transformation, energy, and kind of moving from everything that's been like, you know, gaining its momentum during the winter and resting, for that, kind of movement to happen. And we are getting ready to do some change and transformation with our Thursday night class. We've been doing an art journaling class called Creative Musings, an art journaling adventure. And we're now going to be starting this week with making cards, like oracle cards, like a deck of beautiful artwork that will be small and will be a collection after classes of making them. And this month's theme is transformation and growth. And as I was kind of creating the ideas for like the weeks, the first one that came to me to start us off was change makes me feel, and that as an inquiry and a prompt. And I just, as I'm saying it all, I'm like, that's so perfect for where we are, Uma and I, on our journey of sharing intentional creativity, where we are in the seasons and on the wheel of the year. And I think as we're moving into a different place where we have been for the 2 years in the pandemic, it feels like change and transformation as well. Um, and I'm going to keep it there on like sort of that lighter, positive thought of it because my mind just started to go to like, so
Well,
yeah,
yeah, let's we'll leave it at on a
yeah.
positive and upward thing. And when you sent that message to me this morning, what do you think about um, you know, the old saying was coming through my mind. It's like, well, the only constant in life is change. And I've said that for many years. And then well, wait a minute. Is that true? That's the question that we keep coming up with. Is it true with a capital T? Is change the only constant in life? And in the moment, there's not much else that I can think of that is a consistent. It's going to change. And that's where we keep coming back to, present moment, being in the present moment. Because when we try to map out everything else, it's going to change 10,000 times before we get from here to there
Yeah,
if we've tried to plan everything out.
yeah,
Yet, we still have that relationship, that opportunity for the relationship of change of ourselves, and how do we relate to it. I know there's times that in the past, and not so much anymore, but it can creep in there. It's like the kicking and screaming. I don't want it to change. We resist that change because so often many of us, and I will speak to myself, definitely in the past. And, if I stopped long enough, it probably still has the times of now, but wanting to hold on to, but this is the way I like it. It's going so good. What do you mean we're going to change it again? Well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
And so I know for myself, that is so much what I look at. It's like, yes, I'm enjoying now, and I'm enjoying now. And when I lived in Portland for so long, people would say, well, don't you get tired of the rain? It's like, you know, I just enjoy where it is. And if I don't like what the weather is outside, I can stay inside. And if I don't want to be inside, I can dress for the weather, whatever it is outside. And, why worry about what the weather is? Because it's going to change.
Yeah. 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 And I think, talking about like the present moment and knowing that there will be change, that, like you said, it's that constant, and whether it's the only truth, it definitely is a truth. Um, just being present to the change, knowing that it's going to happen, like, and not like anticipating it, not living in like when it's going to happen, like you're saying, being in the now, but just like bringing awareness to it, and like noticing how that feels, and noticing the shift, and oh, and now I'm here, and it doesn't always have to be like, and I'm going to think positively about it. It can be like, oh, this one hurts, and like being with that, or I'm really scared and I'm excited, and like, what's that feeling about? And but just like you use the word relationship, just having that relationship with it, and being present and being curious, and um like, as I'm thinking of the prompt, like, change makes me feel, you know curious is a really good word for me, and how it makes me feel. Curious is a feeling, maybe. Like, and so um because I don't, yeah, I mean, I prefer to think of that word than to feel afraid, because I think I also have felt really afraid of change. And even if I really want the change, can still feel afraid of like what it's going to be like. Um, there's a book by Elizabeth Gilbert called Big Magic, and she talks about like, it's about, God, I have it, I don't have it in front of me, but it's like the subtitle something about choosing curiosity over fear or something, and so it's just like this idea of like staying curious, and to be curious, you kind of have to be present and aware, and kind of looking for like, well, what's happening? And I mean, and starting with something as beautiful as spring coming, like noticing like, wow, like that, that plant is looking different, or my garden is starting to do this thing, and the budding, and all the little things that are happening, and noticing things that you haven't noticed before. And in our discovery deck series that we're going to be starting on Thursday, as I was working on it, I started thinking about just that opportunity to like get outside, and to like notice those changes, and to feel like what it feels like when you see that happening, and maybe invite that same feeling of like awe and inspire, like beauty into the changes that are happening in your life, and just kind of maybe reframe, shift your perspective a little bit, and allow yourself to feel scared, and to feel this like inspired awe, of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guru Dharam just says, fear, excitement, new beginnings, and those are all present.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I like your term of the curiosity, because the truth is we don't know. And when I do the same thing all the time, you know, sometimes it can get boring too. And so I can be present with that, and I can be present with the bored feeling. What does that feel like? Where do I hold that in my body? And can I just allow and embrace the mystery? Because, yeah, there's possibilities.
Yeah.
Possibilities are endless. I just had this thought last night. We were out in the hot tub, and my son and my granddaughter and I, and it was a year last week that was our anniversary for moving into this to our home. And what we were talking about last night, I looked up in the night sky, and there was Orion, and right, in a specific place. And I don't know a lot of constellations, but that one is very, very familiar to me. And last year, I remember when we first moved in, how Orion was right there.
Mm.
And then little by little by little, Orion moved across the night sky as such. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's been a while that I haven't seen Orion. And it's kind of like this whole thing, it's been changing. And there's a part of it that has returned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that familiarity that came back. And it brought up this whole cycle of life.
Yeah.
And it's part of, as we go into spring, well, here's a cycle of life. And as we move from the creative musings, art journaling that we've been doing, okay, keeping it fresh, who knows what will come up.
Right.
And so there's that excitement that to embrace the new. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a fun piece.
That's beautiful. It makes me think about that there's always those things. I mean, always is a big word, but there are those things we that are just a part of us, or a part of like something that we've learned, or something that like that's not going to just go away, and that it may not show up as prominently in the next thing that our life is like transforming into, and it may show up prominently again, and you're like, oh, there's that part of me that I hadn't really been using. And then we don't even know, in this next transformation there may be something we haven't even been thinking about that's going to
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I get to do this again, or I'm connecting with this, or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
And so while you're changing, there is that familiar, and that potential of that, reemerging, um and that's exciting, and that's comforting, and it feels like there's like a piece, like, I don't know, this may sound super cheesy, but it's like there's a part of you that's like holding your hand, and maybe you don't even know who it is yet, like what piece of you it is, until you get through it and you look down, you're like, oh, there you are, and I mean, and I think about, moving into this new, with the discovery deck, like I already know, just from like starting to kind of formulate what this might look like, through some planning, like, oh, like there's these threads and these things that maybe we just kind of touched on, that now are going to get to maybe come in and have a louder, presence in it.
Mhm.
So it's, yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's ever, I don't know, like that change that's so dramatic that everything is 100, like everything is different. Like,
Mm. Yeah, although, if I go back 8 years, it's pretty much like almost everything in my life changed. It all happened at once. You know, and, even in saying that, and it was mentioned a few minutes ago, yes, change can be painful. And who was the quote? Oh, goodness, I should remember this. Did a class yesterday, and it's in the Buddhist tradition, but so pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional.
Mhm.
And so I've been thinking about that a lot too. And I think about, the whole thing. Okay, so we've got the caterpillar and the chrysalis and, the butterfly. Now, I don't know how painful it is for the butterfly to emerge, but it happens. And I never know how to say her name. I the quote about the rose, when it's too painful to stay in the bud, and the
I don't
rose
know.
has
I've
to,
heard that recently though.
yeah, and the flower has to open because the pain of staying a bud is too
Yeah.
great. And so, yeah, change is inevitable, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional.
Mhm.
And if I want to hold on to suffering, I can. But most of the time, if I'm conscious and awake in that moment, it's like, do I really want to suffer?
Yeah.
Most of the time, when I'm aware, I say, I don't need to do that.
Yeah. I love that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So,
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And I like the just that like open-ended statement of like change makes me feel, because there are so many different things that we can experience with
mhm.
it. And so, the opportunity to revisit that as as things are, because I mean, and again, it's always happening. I think at any point in our lives, in the year, in the week, in the day, we could have a conversation about like the change that's taking place, right? I mean, um, so I've had this one before, and as a prompt, and when I look back at different things that I've written, and I can see how it's, it the change, the feeling of change changes depending on, like you're saying, like how I'm choosing to be in relationship with it, whether I'm choosing to suffer or allowing, or however, and how
Yeah.
much support I have, and what kind of work I'm doing with myself, and who I'm surrounding myself with, and how I'm taking care of my body, and with all of that comes into play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Greer just also commented, or put the suffering out of our body and onto the canvas.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to pick this up briefly because last week I made a video of exactly that. Put the pain on the canvas, take it out of the body.
Yeah.
And so we can take it out of our body and just put dots of the pain on the canvas, or we can intentionally draw a picture of the pain in the body and take it out.
Yeah.
That's what you've been doing great, Greer. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's so powerful, and it works.
It does work.
Yeah, it was something that came through my mind on all that. So I know what it was. We're coming towards the time of our closing, and I would like to invite us, those that are here present and those that watch later, and not as a political statement. That's not the MO that we come onto this platform about. But I would like for each of us, if you choose, to take 3 breaths right now and send a lot of love around this world. Yes, I'm definitely talking about or thinking about Ukraine right now and the people there and the innocents. And you can focus it there, or you can focus it for all people. But I would like for us just to do an intentional sending of love to the Ukraine or around the world. So if you would join me for that, let's just take 3 breaths, and in your own time, go ahead and start with an inhale and just hold that sense of love spreading out. Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah,
Yeah, I thank you for bringing that in. I did with the meditation group earlier today, just that, and she brought up the concept of, and I'm going to say it wrong, but it's Ubuntu, and it means I am because you are, and just this like, connection, and what the breathing and the meditating on bringing in like the love and the compassion and breathing out, just it was actually amazing because I think we all we hear the news and we, of all things that happen all the time, and we don't know what to do with that and how can I help. And there was this beautiful writing poem that she shared, and I'd like to actually put it on our Facebook page because it was just, there was like a line about like, I cannot turn a missile into a bouquet of flowers. I cannot make an ounce of empathy into like a warmonger. I can like, there are all these things, but what we can do is we can breathe and we can send that love to across the world and to the person that's right in front of us that,
yeah,
that we can share that with. And
yeah.
thank you so much for sharing
Mm,
that tonight.
yeah. Well, thank you all for joining me on that. And so, with that, may we just allow ourselves to inquire what, change makes me feel, or with change I feel, and kind of explore that for ourselves. If you'd like to join us on Thursday night with the Discovery Deck, we'll have the link posted on our Facebook page as well. We'd love to have you join us, and it'll be a 4-week session that will start with making the cards the first night or tearing the papers and what have you, and then each week we'll make 2 additional cards so that we eventually have as large a deck as we want, and you'll be able to add to it between sessions or just come on Thursday nights with us. So either way, we would love to have you join us. Thank you for joining us tonight, Greer and Guru Dharam. And
Yes.
so we'll be back next Monday night with our Facebook Live. And in the meantime, we send so much love and
Yes.
compassion to all of you and to all beings in this world. So,
Yes.
peace and blessings.
Love you.